Excellent. What's going on, guys? Raymond J. Negron with Beyond Failure to Reach Success. In today's daylight savings time, commitments, commitments, commitments. That's what we're discussing today, are commitments. And I hope this mic is working. So that's a fourth step of the transformational journey is commitments, making a commitment, right? I like to actually supersede that and say devotion, because commitments you could break in half. Devotion, you're fully committed. It's a bright line. It's not a fuzzy line where you're 79%, 99%. But when it's a bright line, it's 100% of the time that you're devoted and commitment. So let's recap. We have a first impression of the thing that we want to do, that we desire to do. Two, we have a little insight of what it would be like, a mini visualization of doing that thing, whether it's really quick or we really think about it and we put some forethought into it. Step three is we take a taste, we take a bite, we take an action, right? We move fully forward into what we're doing. And taking that action gives us a deeper insight to move forward. So we actually do the thing that we said we want to do, whether it's becoming a vegan, which I am not, I'm an omnivore, and, or going to the gym fully. But now you're making a commitment with a duration of time, right? So I'm going to refer to my notes a little bit. But when you're committing for a duration of time in the fourth step of the transformational journey, you're now taking full responsibility, 100% full responsibility with either getting in shape, with getting your money in shape, with moving somewhere or living somewhere that you want to do. That fourth step is commitment. And I like to further always say devotion, because when you're devoted to it, you just fixate on, I'm just doing this. That's it. I don't care what it takes. I'm moving forward. But once you've gone through these steps prior, you come to form and shape the realization of what a true commitment, what a true devotion is. And say to yourself, you know what? I could do this. I can do this, right? And then, what happens, it's like an independence asserting, right? It's an independent, form of yourself that's asserting and moving forward in a directness of doing what you say you're going to do, right? It's action. It's attraction, action. And you have a vision and you make that commitment and you keep that commitment fully devoted in the direction that you want to move in with whatever it is you want to do. Because in life, if you don't make commitments and you don't make a devotion towards something, you're never fully going to do it. It's just the truth. As human beings, we like comfort zone. We like safety, right? I don't know if you can see my eyes, but I woke up really, really early this morning with only 4.5 hours of sleep because I was committed. I was devoted to meeting my guests at the time. I have guests from all over the world. But the thing is I made a devotion to being the best version of myself, to being the best guide, to being the best, aka life coach, whatever you want. I don't like that term, but person that serves people's highest self. And how you serve your highest self is by fully devoting to that thing that you must do. Whether it's working out, whether it's saving a certain amount of money, whether it's investing time, energy, and attention and getting really good at something that you could bring to the market for value, right? Whatever that is for you. So this is where you actually get confidence, right? And as a mentor of mine, Evan, says, competence is confidence. Competence is confidence. When you get the knowledge, when you get the skill, when you further your abilities, when you further your knowledge, when you further your skill, when you further your ability, right? You become in the know and you become more confident. And confidence is an intense trust within yourself to move forward with whatever it is. Intense trust, right? And holding, I'm thinking about this now, but holding an intention, right? Intention. tension, which is like you're holding an intense of attention towards something and focus and laser like focus on whatever it is you're doing in that moment. Instead of flittering your attention everywhere else, like most people do, you're committed, right? And then further, you're devoted. I hope that makes sense. So I'll even say, one thing about commitment is that it can be broken. And if you've created a past where you've gotten really good at breaking commitments, then you won't make it a habit and you won't go into escape velocity. Where in the beginning you have to create a habit by doing the thing. If it's important to you, literally you'll do it every day. I don't care what it is. If you do it daily, you will do it. You will build a habit. There's so much science out there. No matter how long it takes to form a habit, it takes as long as it takes for you to form a habit. I do believe the science now says 66 days, but it could be longer for you. But if you're consistent and you're focused and you're devoted and you have a bright line into doing what you said you would do, you will do it fully, right? So, one thing about a commitment, one thing about being devoted is that you have to get emotional about it. You have to say, you know what, I want this. I want this so bad. Whether it's you having a conversation in the mirror, whether it's you having some alone time and a yellow pad with a pen and writing out what that looks like for you and bumping up against reality and knowing the challenges, knowing the obstacles, knowing what's going to get in your way and how to prevent that, or focus on this because it's so important. If it's your health, there's a saying that, and I'm going to butcher the hell out of this, but the man with no health has but one wish. And then I don't know what the other saying is, but think about that. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. I don't care how much money you have in the world or what you believe materials, but if you don't have your health, you have nothing, right? Really think about that. But there's so many other things that the transformational journey can be in process of that you can create these. But once you learn that it's a first impression, you see that someone else did it, right? You get an insight. You're insightful, right? Which means being insightful to your peak of who you're going to become. And then you get an actual taste, right? You get a taste of it. A taste, it means you're taking action, you're doing something, maybe once, maybe for the week, but you're doing it. And you did it, and you said, you know what? Wow, that's what it feels like. That's what it was like. And then you do your experience of how to make it better, or maybe you went too hard, or you're inquiring. You're kind of like going through the sea, and you're trying to figure out where to navigate to. But when you make a commitment, when you have the devotion, right? The devotion in the ocean, whatever, that just came to me. But you're willing to do the work. You're willing to do the hard work. You're willing to do the persistence. You're willing to do the perseverance. You're willing to be determined to get what you want and what you are seeking because you're moving forward in all aspects, right? And I'm reading some notes here. And I've kind of already said this, you have to move in the direction of the thing that you want with passion, with knowing sometimes that it is going to be difficult, right? Difficulty being in the action of being difficult is okay. It's a part of the process. It's supposed to be difficult, right? Because it's a weakness that you're turning into a strength, right? And you're giving it power, and you're giving it power ability, and you're powering through this thing that you didn't do before. One thing as you get older, right? We tend, or maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I tend to capitalize my strengths and just don't even worry about my weaknesses. I will delegate my weaknesses as well, But sometimes I really don't want to be weak at something. There's certain things I don't like to be weak in. So I will do the work to make that a strength, right? And, it's like working towards doing these Facebook Lives and giving this awesome information that I'm obtaining every year as I go through and learn. Every year I get a coaching certification from a different company, which a lot of coaches don't do, right? Some coaches or guides don't even get a certification, or I don't believe a certification makes you a coach. I believe doing the work on being a coach and guiding and helping and serving and getting the action of makes you great at what you do, whatever it is. I know people have taught themselves musical instruments, by themselves. You don't need a teacher, but if you're doing the work on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and you're investing 10, 20, 30 hours a week in personal development and growth, then you're doing the work. And the certification means nothing, right? When you get the experience and experiential learning. So, as here's a key tip point that I want to give. The more depth that you put towards your commitment and devotion, the more, because you have to think about it constantly before it becomes consistency. Consistency is the key to success. Consistency is the key to success, right? In order for you to do that at a deeper level, and because what happens when you create a habit, the brain just goes on autopilot and says, okay, that's just something we do every day. We don't have to put a lot of energy and stress in this because the body already knows. It's like brushing your teeth, right? If you brush your teeth, you don't brush your teeth, you need to brush your teeth, right? I drink a lot of coffee, so I have yellow teeth and I have to brush all the time. But think about that, right? The power of daily visualization is so powerful that I'm actually writing a book about it. And I actually use a form of meditation as visualization, visualizing what in my mind is a lie and seeing the truth. Visualizing, I'm splitting reality to my ideality, which isn't even a word, but it's your ideal version of your best self, and building the bridge and building the connection to get there, right? By daily visualization and seeing it and doing the best I can to see it. And in the beginning, when you visualize, and again, I can only speak from my experience and some of my clients' experiences, is that you're going to be all over the place. Your monkey mind's going to be visualizing different things and different patterns. But when you focus on the one thing that you're working towards and seeing it on a daily basis, focus, right? Narrow that lighthouse of focus and laser beam on that thing that you want to create so you can bring it towards you like an attractor, right? And focus specifically on that until you get that. You can visualize on other things as well, but keep your main focus on what it is in that 5% that you really want to get good at, right? I think that's so important. And, because of divine mind, you have to find daily time and explore the future doors, which you desire to grow and open, right? So you go to that next level of transformation of what you want. If you have a daily vision plan and you put it in your morning ritual, it's a must. I believe visualization is one of the things that a lot of people don't discuss, right? And in helping guide people to where they want to go, we have to create an actual map to where we're going. And seeing that on a daily basis and creating that picture and putting it in the subconscious mind, right? That's my key tip point on this topic today on step 4, commitment and devotion, right? I hope that sticks for you guys. So if in the morning or night, I would say morning and night, do both, right? AM and PM work, where your AM is maybe you lay there for 10, 15 minutes or sit. I put earplugs in my ears when I visualize. I don't like external stimulation. I like to create internal visualization by blocking out some of my senses, closing my eyes, making sure there's not a lot of smells in the area. Being from the city, I'm used to picking up all kinds of smells. And you just key in on that. and see that picture. Maybe it's you wanting, well, I'm going to speak for me wanting to do public speaking, not just social media speaking on YouTube Lives and Facebook Lives, but public speaking. I see the stage. I see myself on stage. I'm reaching out and I'm walking step by step on stage and I'm smiling. I'm looking around. I'm looking into the faces of the audience. And I see the people smiling back as I smile to them. And I wave to them friendly or whatever the case may be. And then I stand there in my power, in a good stance, in a present stance. And I'm seeing people and I'm connecting with them on a different level. And I'm looking around. And I'm silent at first because I want to connect with my audience. And I look left, I look right. I feel good. I feel inspired. I feel empowered. I feel in glory. And then I speak. And then I say certain words, right? Which I'm not going to repeat right now. But when you do that, you're empowering yourself to actually be at that place. And then the attractor is you have that in your conscious awareness in your current state, and you look for those opportunities, right? So I got off the topic. If you guys are still listening, awesome. But I do. There's this great book I'm reading by one of my mentors. Bam. Opportunity by Evan Pagan. And how to win in business and create a life you love. Because that's one thing I specialize in is helping people move from 9 to 5 to working for themselves full time, right? With love and passion. Also hard work, determination, and persistence, and knowing that the obstacles are the way. But anyway, I hope that helps because that's a key tip point. Visualization. Visualization on a daily basis. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, whatever the case may be, whatever you can do, right? Do a little bit by little bit and see it and be there and be a part of it. Be in the experience and try not to let any other thoughts in. If they come in, say, okay, let me get back to focus. Next, let me get back to focus. Next, let me get back to focus. There was a book I was reading years ago by a man called Stephen Levine. It was called A Gradual Awakening. And that's what happens to the mind when you're meditating, when you're visualizing, is that, it's kind of like you standing there staring at a train and the carts are going by. And each thought comes and goes. But you want to keep focus on the thought that you're working towards getting to, not letting everything else just come into your mind, right? Because that's what the mind does. It focuses on like a different type of train car, if that makes any sense, with different things and different obstacles. You want to focus on one thing. Okay, I'm Raymond J. Negron with Beyond Failure to Reach Success. And that was step 4 of the transformational journey, right? Devotion. Commitment. I don't like to say commitment because you could break commitments. I like to say devotion because when you get emotional about your devotion, you become, bright line with it. You work towards moving towards it at 100% of the time instead of just here and there, right? You become devoted. And sometimes, most people go really hard at the thing that they need to do, and then they get hit and they go back, right? Instead of seeing, some people can do little bits of pain and get away with it. Some people I work with can do a lot of pain and get away with it. And then they rejuvenate, recover, and then they come back. But most people, must figure out their threshold of what they can endure to move forward. I always say go as big as you can because you want to get there as quick as possible, right? If you do little bits of pain, it's going to take you longer to get there, and that's what we gauge. I work with where you're at, but for you, where is it where your pain threshold is? Can you go to the gym 20 minutes a day, right? Just say, you know what, minimum of 20 minutes every day. Or I do a minimum of 1 hour. And then I have to do 1 hour and then I leave. I'm very time oriented. So whatever that focus is for you, figure that out and work towards that. Okay. So again, first impression, 2, insight, 3, taste, 4, devotion. And then stay tuned for step 5. Okay, guys, have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves and be excellent.